That's brilliant. Mikko joins the set. Stars keep on rolling with points. 7-game point streak now with a win over the Oilers. Sean is here. Luds is here. Maybe Sam will show up. Who can say? Ryan's here. I'm here. So let's go. Stars victory post-game starts right now. This is the DLLS Stars post-game show after a 4-3, not overtime, shootout win over the Edmonton Oilers. Stars extend their point streak to 7 games. They are 4-0-3 since October 23rd, which happens to be my wife's birthday, so not bad. Alongside Craig Ludwig, Ryan Vodder's our producer. Eventually, Sean Shapiro, supposed to be here, but he's not yet. And, of course, Sam Nestler will be joining us from the AAC a little bit later. I'm Owen Newkirk. Before we get into all the action, full breakdown, your super chats, you name it. Let's talk about those shirts. Face-off collection. Yeah, look at those things. Fantastic new Dallas hockey shirts on the DLS Stars website, alldls.com. You can get those. Get all the other shirts that we have for hockey. Maybe a good moose tonight. Maybe the finisher to celebrate the bobblehead night and the win. Mikko Rantanen, a huge part of it. All of that and more. Luds, I guess the question I have is who had more fun tonight? Mikko Rantanen or these guys, the American College of Emergency Physicians? Who do you think had a better night?
Well, they had a good first period, and they were having a couple cocktails and having a good time, and they're in town, and it was with the Lowe's.
The hotels.
Yeah, the Lowe's hotels. So these guys are all from around the country, and they're having a good time at the Stars game.
Well, as we wait to see if Sean has remembered that he confirmed that he was going to do the post-game show tonight multiple times.
Did he make it across the border last night?
What's that?
Wasn't he trying to cross the border last night?
He was, actually. He did the emergency pod. Yes, he did. He confirmed. He also had some Canadian snacks with him. Ketchup chips, all dressed. Ryan wanted coffee crisp. I don't think he brought any Tim Hortons with him, but he should have. But
so he crosses the border in Detroit there, right?
Yeah, it was probably, what is that bridge called?
Right by the hotel
is that
there?
The Freedom Bridge? What do they call that going over from, is it from Starnia or Windsor?
Remember the guy who told you to put some knots in my head the other day? Bobby Probert? I'm going to cross that bridge a couple times, too.
Did he? Oh, from the Red Wings. How about that? Hey, Ryan, if you could pop up because apparently our GM would love us to push this, the Moose or the Finisher or the Finnish Mafia shirts real quick on the screen. He would love to show everybody that, well, we have the new face-off collection. We also have that one, Moose. We also have that one, the Finisher. And if you want to encompass all of our Finns, the Finnish Mafia shirt. So jump into any of those shirts. Diehards get 20% off. They're looking very sharp. I love the Finnish Mafia one, but that Moose one really growing on me, Lud.
Hey, speaking of the Finns, Miro had a good game tonight.
How about playing one-on-one with
Connor
McDavid?
I think that he steps up to the challenge.
Do you think he looked physically night and day different as far as being able to keep up with McDavid versus the playoffs where he's coming back from that serious knee surgery? Because before he got hurt, he was one of the few players in the league that could skate stride for stride with McDavid and defend him most of the time.
There, a couple of years ago, McDavid was going through the neutral zone and Miro was going forward. The puck changed hands. And I didn't know anybody could go from forward skating to backward skating against a Connor McDavid that was flying. And it happened right about at the center line. And Miro had his gap on McDavid at the blue line. And I'm like, I mean, it's crazy what he can do when he's healthy. He looks healthy. I think tonight's game was like a measuring stick for Miro personally against him. He knows he's going to be against this guy. And he was there to prove that, all the talk, about winning a Norris Trophy and all this other kind of stuff. McDavid is going to get his looks. You're not.
And he got his goal and his assist
you're not
tonight.
you can't handle that guy for 60 minutes. And tell you what, I think he played 20-some minutes, maybe 25 minutes tonight, and that's coming off of 3 and 4.
He played 25-13 tonight, Luds,
Yeah,
to
that's their
lead
third
all
game in 4 now,
forwards, I
right?
believe, because
Yeah.
Draisaitl played
He was around 21.
24-16.
Oh, Draisaitl was?
He played about
Oh,
a
no,
minute
I think
less.
it was Rantanen. I thought Mikko was
Rantanen
going to
played
be up
22-48.
Yeah, so that
overtime.
was I know Wyatt had he was
Tyler
close.
Seguin played 24-52
Yeah.
tonight.
And he looked like it a couple
20,
times to me
almost
that he was
25 minutes. This is not 25-year-old
Yeah.
Tyler Seguin.
right.
He's on
And
the
he-
other
well,
side of
and
30 now.
There was a couple times it showed up.
Well, we'll get into that. I think that we forget that, well, maybe not we forget, but we talk a lot about, you mentioned the Norris Trophy. Miro Heiskanen will probably never win a Norris Trophy on offensive talent alone because of maybe his personality, the way he plays. He's not a huge, although he scored a goal tonight, he's not a huge, he has shown it before. He led the team in playoff scoring a couple years ago. He's shown he can dictate, but he doesn't always do that. But if you had a award that also, like Norris Trophy, best defenseman, should take into account how he defends the best player on the planet. How many other defensemen in the NHL can do against McDavid what Miro did tonight?
Well, I would think Makar probably can, although Makar does it differently because he's got the puck quite a bit out there. Quinn Hughes, yeah, you look at those kind of guys,
but there's not many.
I will say I will even go as far as somebody like Ryan McDonough, and he doesn't skate like those guys at all.
No,
but he plays from the neck up, and he will give McDavid what he wants to give. There's some defensemen in the league that have to play a little bit smarter, obviously, but yeah, what Miro can do on his edges, and tonight he was involved offensively, and getting up on the play. That was the good news for me, getting up offensively, because he can blow by people and create a.
Ordinarily, I wouldn't bring up stuff I see in the arena because you stay here, so you don't have to get distracted. Because heaven forbid, we know how much you despise distractions. Yeah. But you had a little thing with the emergency physicians from Irving, hanging out with them for at least the beginning of the game. And I don't know if you noticed, but as I think you might have, because PNC, our sponsor, we're doing the big hockey hair hats and the Main Street pop-up. We'll be over there on Thursday. There were a ton of Stars fans wearing those mullet hats all over the arena.
All over. They had these hats, all of them. So, yeah, it was pretty popular promotion going on.
They were in a festive
should be
mood.
Happy and proud that's going on in that arena.
They should, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. When you talk about offense, we spent so much time talking about 5-on-5 offense. Stars haven't been very good at it. We spent a bunch of time on the show yesterday. Mentioned it. Both teams' power plays cashed in tonight. They both looked dangerous at times. There were other power plays for both that didn't look very good. But when they were trailing by a couple of goals, it was 5-on-5 for the Stars. They got it back to level ground. It wasn't just relying on the power play.
Yeah, and it was a lot of the big guys. They were leaning on Wyatt and Rantanen and guys like that. Like, as you mentioned, Tyler Seguin, a lot of minutes tonight. But you saw Miro up in the play quite a bit. So, yeah, and, to me, this game was about the superstars for me. I mean, that McDavid, Draisaitl on that side, and the guys we just mentioned on this side. So it was about the big dog. So I would think if you were a fan sitting in the seats tonight or watching on TV, it was probably.
Luds, we were going to talk about the news. We did an emergency pod yesterday. You weren't unavailable for that. Lucky guy. But yeah, look at that smirk. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Anyway, we got into so much conversation with Sam and some of the gully quotes in our pregame show. We ran out of time. But check it out. Ryan, if you want to pop that up real quick, that rendition, it's a really cool artist sort of diagram of what AT&T Stadium will look like. It'll be February 20th, 2027. So a year from this February. So it'll be next season. But look at that. Roof, Steve Mayer, who's the creative genius at the NHL for their events, and he runs all the outdoor games amongst many other things that he does. He said they intend this to be an outdoor game with the retractable roof open, maybe with the windows on either end open. But this thing is going to be packed. And I know that you tend to stay away from a lot of the inner workings of the business side and the marketing stuff. But The one I really wanted to ask you was, they haven't announced an opponent yet, which is in one sense really interesting. Oh, there he is. And we talked about this with Sean last night as he was trying to smuggle ketchup chips back over the border. Oh, did you, Sean, did you claim your prize ketchup chips?
No, I didn't declare the ketchup chips at the border or anything like that.
You didn't pay import tax on that.
No, I did not.
Who would you like, Luds, to see as the Stars' opposition when they play in the Stadium Series game at Jerry World a year from February?
Well, I mean, I immediately go to the two teams, the previous teams that they played in the playoffs, and obviously, I think anytime the best player on the planet can be part of something like this, being Connor McDavid.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I seem to lean more towards Colorado. And again, McKinnon, McCarr, Nature's now, but there's a couple rivalries right there. And so I get the reasons for all of them. I guess I just think that from an entertainment standpoint, anytime that you can have a McDavid, McKinnon, McCarr, the Rantanen,
the star power's there.
But the reason I think I really go to the Colorado thing is because I think about all the storylines with Mikko mainly.
The trade.
Everything that goes on there.
Val Nichushkin on the other side, being a Stars draft pick, the play-up.
Wedgwood.
Scott Wedgwood.
Yeah. So I just think there's a lot. I think of all the press and the media and all the stories that'll come out on TV and all you guys that write stuff. I think it's
talk about you, Sean.
You
write stuff.
Yeah, you write stuff. And your what is it called?
Shap shot.
I can't even say that.
That's fine.
Shot.
Yep.
I didn't even know what that meant the first time he told me. And I was like, what is Shap? I didn't put it together. I didn't put it together.
Okay, Sean, I want you to hear
crazy.
This because we were before the pregame show, and then we didn't get into it because we ran out of time talking about this game tonight. Luds, you had a great idea about what our show, and DLLS should do for the Stadium Series game out at AT&T Stadium.
Well, I think it would only be right that we could do a tailgate party out there. I don't know if they're going to allow us inside, But I think
media coverage for sure.
Well, I don't know. Some of us aren't allowed in places. So, but I just think a day outing of a tailgate party out there, and we can have some big ass speakers and some music and all of our
beverages.
Goes
without saying. Like, come on, what are we doing, right?
I think it would be a great day, and then we could have people stop by, and we could. I mean, some of the Cowboy. There's gonna be some of the Cowboy guys are gonna be there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so I was talking
Jordan Love might be there. I
can't remember if I was talking with Kevin Carius this morning or with Jim Boomer Gordon when I did my Sirius XM this afternoon. One of them, and I forget which one brought this up, said, Troy Aikman was the ceremonial puck drop for the Winter Classic at the Cotton Bowl. It was wonderful in 2020. Is it going to be Jerry Jones? Is Jerry at his stadium? Is he going to come drop the ceremony? It has to be, right?
I don't know
how could it not be Jerry Jones, right?
Yeah, I would.
Sean, do you have any thoughts? I'm putting you completely on the spot. A ceremonial puck drop at AT&T Stadium other than Jerry Jones. Maybe Roger Staubach?
Why wouldn't it be Jerry and Tom Gullardi?
What about the triplets?
Why couldn't they both come up?
They could.
Triplets.
Yeah, as in Troy, Michael, Emmett.
I
know what your mind was thinking, but that's not what I was talking about.
I didn't know they were still alive.
Well, on the and you kind of the Staubach one's actually a really good thought because without Roger Staubach's influence and his pull, the Stars might have never actually ended up in Dallas. When the team was going to be moved from Minnesota originally, the original plan was for the Stars to end up in was for them to end up in California. This was before the success of a little movie called The Mighty Ducks, and they were going to be moved to California, and basically become a team called the LA Stars was the plan. And once Disney said they wanted an NHL team, and the league wanted the expansion fee, and the owners realized they could get having an NHL team owned by Disney there meant more money for everyone else. The Stars had to look the Norm Green and the ownership group had to look to several other places, and that's when Dallas came up on the radar. And Roger Staubach was one of the influences that convinced that kind of brought up Dallas as that spoke with Norm Green, and also was a little bit of a conduit to the conversation between the NHL and Norm Green and the city of Dallas to make things go as smoothly as possible to end up playing then at a Reunion Arena, and now ironically enough at a place where might not be the cleanest exit. So Roger Staubach would be a really fitting historical tie-in for the franchise, just because not just his history with the Cowboys and his history with every there. I mean, it's my dad's favorite athlete of all time, so I'm sure there's at least one person who would be really happy if that happened.
I think more than one. But here's some interesting suggestions. People have said Nolan Ryan, Mike Modano, Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, there's some pretty famous Dallas athletes that could be involved. Could be President George W. Bush, because he's, a resident of the area. And he was just at the SMU game the other day, along with some other celebs. But I think he was at Cowboy game on Monday Night Football yesterday as well. But
who ultimately makes that decision?
NHL probably.
Oh, really?
I'm sure the Stars have input, but I'm sure if this is an NHL event, Sean could get
on Jerry's turf.
Sean could do a dissertation on who's in control of this kind of stuff. This is not a Stars event. This is an NHL run event.
Correct.
Jerry will have some things. All right, let's get into the breakdown of this. We can do more. I have to see some super chats regarding this. There's one really good idea, but we'll have to wait till that segment as the Stars beat the Oilers 4-3 in a shootout here on the DLS Stars postgame show.
Let's just got a new one again. Ever wanted to be a major league player? See your name on the back of your jersey? Share a dugout with the all-time greats? We have good news. Texas Rangers Fantasy Camp, presented by National Car Rental, is your opportunity to live out these dreams. Taking place January 7th through the 11th at Rangers Spring Training Facility in Sunrise, Arizona. Rangers Fantasy Camp is the dream experience for any diehard Rangers. 5 unforgettable days, campers will be treated like big leaguers. Custom Rangers uniform, professional grade equipment, access to full clubhouse amenities, post-game happy hour, the whole 9 yards. Here's the best part. You'll enjoy hands-on guidance for some of the best players to ever don a Rangers jersey, including Hall of Famers Ivan Pudge Rodriguez and Fergie Jensen, who, by the way, was just in our studio a week ago.
He was.
Yes, he was. With more alumni announcements on the way.
Here.
Right in this chair.
In
right
that
here.
chair.
Yeah, I know. Right in this chair. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You won't want to miss it. Spots are limited and going fast. Secure yours today at rangers.com/fantasycamp. That's rangers.com/fantasycamp.
Let's talk about PNC Bank. Obviously, I think they have a home run with their hockey hair hat promotion, seeing all the people wearing them over at American Airlines Center tonight. Main Street. Yeah, that's right.
I finally got it, Sean. I picked up on it today. Main Street.
Long-term growth takes patience and commitment, something banking and hockey have in common. PNC Bank recognizes the value of long-term growth, too. It's time to see how good long-term growth looks on you. You can pick up your free Dallas Stars hockey hair hat pregame at PNC Plaza, compliments of PNC Bank. One more chance. Already did it today, but you can do it on November 6th at PNC's pop-up Main Street branch, Luds. We'll be out there on Thursday night. No purchase necessary, one per person. While supplies last. Copyright 2025, the PNC Financial Services Group Incorporated, PNC Bank, an official partner of the Dallas Stars. All right, fellas, we're having fun. The Stars won. They extend their point streak to 7. They're now 7-3-3 on the season, 4-0-3 in this point streak, which overlaps with a 4-game winless streak. They lost 3 in a row. They lost one in overtime, I think, or was it a shootout? I even can't remember now. That started this run, but also ended their losing skid. And now, here we are, on their way to 17 points. Keep on chugging out these results. Luds, I thought the Stars were the way better team in the first period as far as chances and puck possession, and they found themselves trailing 2-0 because of it.
Well, and they should be. You know, when you have a team coming in here that played the night before and 3-4, as we talked about plenty of time, they're generally going to get off to. Sometimes the first couple minutes are good for them, and then they kind of slow down a little bit. Then they pick up some steam as the game moves along. and then they eventually die. But nobody told number 97 and 29 that, because those two guys just kept on trucking today.
Well, it started with Vasily Podkolzin's goal as the Oilers struck first. Dallas had a couple of early looks. Robertson, Rantanen, Adam Ernie, all getting looks in the first couple of minutes, but then 3:40 into the game, a breakdown led to a Roslovic to Podkolzin cross slot pass. Nice finish, but there's some problems here as we break this one down.
Yeah, there's some of the little things that creep in, and here we go. What the fuck? Well, here the first thing here is Thomas Harley for me. But when you look in the neutral zone, there are 4 green jerseys and 2 white jerseys, so it should be no problem whatsoever, right? Thomas loses position here on Roslovic, right? And when you lose position like this and you get on the outside, you have to start changing your angle. You don't keep on that same angle because you're never going to catch him. But if you try to go to the far post, sometimes you have an opportunity to meet up with them. Well, what happens is Roslovic picks up speed here, but here's a guy over here that's pretty damn dangerous, right? But here's the problem. Maverick stops his feet again. You got to look. Maverick never looked over his shoulder either, but he stopped his feet. I keep going with the stop your feet thing. Podkolzin, though, is a right-handed shot. He's got one hand on his stick also. What happens when he's got one hand on his stick? Because you're wondering, how the hell did he make a pass so great? Now he's a right-handed stick, got it in the right hand, and then he just slung it over to the other side of the ice. But again, if he doesn't stop his feet, Podkolzin probably doesn't get this pass coming through here. Got to keep on skating. We got another example of that, but it happens a lot. And you, as a forward, defenseman, whatever it is, you don't stop until you get back to the crease. That, to me, was the angle that Harley took, and I know he lost a little, but the angle he took, and Maverick could have stopped that pass. Sure.
Sean, I know that we're maybe being not nitpicky, but
I am.
Yeah, but critical. Rope Hintz had a play in overtime, the game the Stars lost on home ice, where I think it was against the LA Kings, where he didn't keep skating to chase Adrian Kempe. Probably could have caught him as that cross-ice pass eventually made it to him, and he scores the winner because of that. Now you see this from Bork. I'm not calling this some sort of epidemic, but that's got to be something that coaches would be driven absolutely crazy.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think about the Hintz thing, but I look at this play and I look at those screen grabs and I look at it's easy. It's really easy to pause the game and say and pick it apart and be like, oh, they should have done this or that. Like I admit that it's really when you go to but when you look at the positioning of, there's not a shot threat here. He's not like he doesn't have like that. That to me is one of my biggest takeaways on this play. Like it's gonna look nice in the highlight, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, he made the one-handed pass and everything like that." But the pass was the only option, right? When you get to the point of the play where he's got one hand on the stick like he does and everything like that, any shot threat is a poor little shuffle on net that isn't a threat at all. So I would be fascinated in hindsight, the truth serum, whatever you want to call it, to hear what conversation Glen Gulutzan and his staff have with the players about a couple things of what's the communication right there? Because to me, that's on 3 different guys right there. As a goalie, and I'm not blaming Casey DeSmith for the push or the play or this play reading or anything like that, but I'd be fascinated. Is Casey DeSmith talking? Was the communication there? Is the play identification there from Casey DeSmith to his defenders of like, hey, just take the guy out, right? There's no shot coming in. And is the communication there? And then it's once again, these things all happen in milliseconds. I understand that, but these are NHL players and the milliseconds matter the most. So what was the communication there? Because when I look at that play and I see the pass made, it's a nice pass, but it's the only play that he ever had. Because if you just let him go and take the shot with one hand, like if he scores on a one-handed little right-handed shuffle, well, then we're ripping Casey DeSmith to shreds right now.
Yes,
so that's
fair point.
That's my
and
thoughts
as soon as Podkolzin comes across that blue line, everybody on the bench should be yelling late guy, late guy, late guy. You know, and again, and same thing on the ice.
Yeah.
But it's communication, and maybe they were, and maybe Bork didn't hear him. But regardless, you have to have
because
a
he was
couple
too far
things.
away.
Well, there's a couple terms all the time. His head on a swivel. In other words, you got to be looking around. and you don't stop your feet until you're out of trouble. It's just that simple.
Luds, I'm fascinated to hear your breakdown of the next one because the Esa Lindell takes a cross-checking penalty. Here's what it looks like. This was at 6:52 of the first period, so about just a little over 3 minutes after the first Edmonton goal.
Okay, so here's the issue: is when Esa makes contact, and by the way, it's number 97, so that might have a little bit to do with it. When he makes contact, it's right on the number, right? And then what happens is he slides forward. It catches him in the back of the helmet. But the biggest problem is that guy with the striped shirt on right there is standing right there, and he knows it's number 97. But what he sees is he sees a cross-check slide up over McDavid's shoulders and tilt his helmet forward. Did it hurt Connor McDavid at all? No. But, again, if that was Corey Perry, he may not have gotten the call. But because it's Connor McDavid, that may have something to do with it there. But, again, you know, Esa was, again, I give him credit just for keeping up with David there.
Yep. Well, you give them a power play after they had already scored. Edmonton's power play already ranked number 1 in the NHL for their efficiency this year. And this is the really remarkable thing. In their last 8 games coming into tonight, they were 10 for 20, 50%. Think about that. 10 power play goals in their last 8 games. They were having a lot of the same problems the Stars were over the last little stretch, which is not scoring a lot 5-on-5, relying too heavily on their power play, but it cashed in and led to this goal from Draisaitl. And I want to get your take on this one because this is an area
my take is going to be really simple.
Very few people take this shot.
I only had one take on this thing, and I just want to hand it over to Sean.
Okay.
Here's my take.
That's the other spot.
Bad goal.
Okay.
Sean, you're the goalie guru here on this show. Tell us what you thought of this one.
Here's the one thing before you start, Sean. Everybody on the ice knows where Draisaitl is, and there's nobody in the league that can score more goals from the bloody goal line, right? And like we say to players all the time, you have to be aware where everybody is, especially the best players on the opposing team, right? So I think Casey has a responsibility to know that this guy is, you can almost call it his office, but I'm just saying. Sean, your thoughts?
Yeah, you talk about a play that I guarantee you that, we talked all about how Glen Gulutzan coached these guys for 7 years and helped their power play click at a high level and everything like that. And so the Stars have no excuse for any reason to not for anyone to not know that, you know what, there's going to be a play that runs its way to Leon Draisaitl along the goal line down there. So it looks bad. It's not a good goal. It's also, I will also say, the one flipping to flip it in just the conversation of the same reason that Alex Ovechkin is going to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame immediately when he's eligible and everything like that, is he's able to be one of the most dangerous players on the planet from a spot where he's standing and looking like he's waiting for a bus and everyone knows what he's going to do, right? So this is one where you get no excuse for not prepping for it, but Draisaitl, there's a reason that he continues to still be in that spot. How many years now into his career? 7, 8 years into his career, and continues to be that threat to score that way all the time. So if you're a good team like the Stars, it's right for us to nitpick. It's right for us to be like, you can't let that happen to you. It's also okay to acknowledge, I think, at the same time that if the rest of the league would have taken this away from Draisaitl 5-6 years ago, if they realized if he wasn't so good at what he does down there. So
and there may be something to the curve of his stick, because we've talked to people. I've talked to Alame about Ovechkin's stick, and so many people have talked about the curve. I've even talked to a couple goalies. They're like, you don't get it. When he hits it, the puck does weird things, and maybe Draisaitl has something, that the puck changes or stands up and end. But again, and it'd be different for me if that puck came cross ice, or even if it came from the slot over there. That puck stayed on the wall. It was on the wall the whole time. It was on that side of the ice the whole time. So just move on. Casey got job done in the shootout.
Stars basically had the run of the period after that. They had tons of chances, a couple of high dangers, a couple power plays. The Edmonton Oilers barely created anything, but they got out of the first period with a 2-0 lead. Had to feel like a big win. We'll continue the breakdown next here on the DLS Stars postgame show.
But first, I think it's me right now with a wonderful ad read, right? Just making sure I'm just reading it. So first, let's talk about Prize Picks. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. We obviously, when it comes to the current football season right now, I think a lot about hockey because of what happened, the announcement we had at Jerry World last night. But you can go through and watch the games, and like you could also, after learning about the hockey news, I watched the football game, and you could have your predictions and thoughts on all of that. Prize Picks is simple. Like, just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Play Prize Picks to get action on football in more than 40-plus states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. You want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns? Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup, only on Prize Picks. So, download the Prize Picks app today and use the code DLLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's the code DLLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Thank you, Sean. Let's talk about Monarch. You know, people sometimes lose track of their money, whether it's a 401k at an old job, or maybe they've got just too many apps, investments here, banking app here, something else over here, and it's just a bore to try to keep track of everything in different spots. Well, you should download Monarch, and you should have it all in one place. Talk about a great thing. And of course, right now for our listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off for your first year. So whether you are just in a busy lifestyle and you've been putting off organizing your finances, or you just need to make sure you're not leaving money on the table, Monarch isn't just another finance app. It's real tools for real professionals, and experts actually love it. Plus, it's named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code DLLS at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code DLLS. Okay. Let's get back to this recap because the Stars are down 2-0. Mikko Rantanen gets a breakaway off the opening faceoff. Looked like a set play because all of a sudden the Moose is free and clear.
Loose.
The Moose is loose,
Loose.
and he hit the post.
Loose.
Great chance early. Then the Stars take a penalty. McDavid had a great look on a backhander at the crease and just missed it wide. They couldn't score on the power play. Stars get a power play, and this, after a couple of grade A chances, we get number 300 for said Moose.
Remember when there was a little talk about Gully was talking about having wingers that play on their offside?
Yes.
Well, here's a perfect example. This is Tyler Seguin coming down the wall. Puck comes around the wall. Tyler's right-handed. He can't continue it around because there's one of the Oilers right there. So Tyler sees the seam, and because he's on his forehand, all he has to do is put it between the seam, these two players, and this is where Wyatt takes over from here. But I'm going to tell you right now, before Wyatt got that puck, he knew where Mikko Rantanen was, because as soon as he get this, there you can see him taking a little peek over his right shoulder. He sees it. Puck Tyler puts in an area. Immediately he makes that pass. And then finds Rantanen. Rantanen gets the puck up to the net. But what Wyatt doesn't do, and this is the one thing about Wyatt, Wyatt is a monster for getting to the front of the net. He doesn't just stand there and watch. As soon as he makes that pass, he takes off to the front of the net. Because the puck bounces off the side here a couple times, Wyatt's there, and Wyatt actually shoots it. I think it hits the side of the net, and then it kind of caroms over. And then
I think it hit the right post.
Yeah, but it kind of just slid over there. But if Wyatt doesn't come in there, he gets it and he just fires it back at the net. And there's that long reach. You don't even see any hands in there, but that's that long reach.
From his knees, Luds.
Yep. And so again, this is just, if he doesn't have this reach, there's probably 2 or 3 other players that can get their stick on this. But because he's at that long reach, and he just taps it into the net.
So power play goal. Stars power play continues to trot along at a very high rate as they scored to make it a 2-1 game. We bagged on Casey DeSmith with a couple of plays earlier, but give him credit. He stopped Podkolzin on a one-timer from the mid slot. He stopped Bouchard from the right circle on an open wrister, kept it 2-1 through the end of 40 minutes of play. Then into the third period, after Robo had a point-blank chance from Bork. You weren't thrilled with Bork's game tonight, but he did make a nice play to set up Robo. He was denied by Skinner. Connor McDavid, wrist shot on the rush, hit the left post. How did
that chance you were talking about that McDavid had on that 2-on-1?
Uh-huh.
That was a Bork pass.
Yeah.
It was behind Tyler Seguin. That's what led the other way.
Fair enough. And then DeSmith made a really good save at the crease off a rebound of a Roslovic shot. But then Connor McDavid couldn't be kept off the score sheet, makes it 3-1.
Back on the Maverick train here?
I think so.
I'm back on the Maverick Bork train. Okay. So a couple things here with Maverick. When Mav gets this puck here just inside his own blue line, and he tries to make a pass up through the middle of the ice, and he basically turns the puck over. Okay, that happens. Right here, he could have taken probably just a chip up the wall. You've got somebody going there. Puck goes into the zone. First, he turns the puck over, but then where I have an issue with it is when he turns it over and you've got numbers going back, Maverick changes. He goes off the ice. I mean, you're supposed to change.
And you see where Connor McDavid is at this moment?
Yeah, at this moment. But
he's
Maverick
back by his own blue line.
The moment I'm worried about is Maverick going off the ice and the puck's going back into your zone. Then, and here I don't want to do this either, but here comes this guy. He's pretty good. Everybody knows who he is, but it's Tyler Seguin. Tyler stopped his feet when he got to the blue line.
Mm-hmm.
And again, very similar to what Maverick did in the last one. And you can see right here. So I went back a little bit. Here's where Seguin stopped his feet. And then he gets inside the zone. Tyler Seguin does. And then he gets another step, but he has never moved his feet. And that's what allowed RNH to make this pass over to McDavid. And then McDavid does the rest from there. Again, sense danger, come back hard into your own end till you break up a play. But if Tyler Seguin keeps this, just look at the small lane here. I mean, it's a matter of inches that it makes it through here. But then that's what happens. And David doesn't need a lot of room in case he didn't.
And at that point, 3-1 down, you're thinking, uh-oh, the Stars are in trouble because the 2-goal lead has been restored. They have 12 minutes to go in the third period. And frankly, through that point, the Oilers were the better team in the third period. Stars were clearly better in the first. I thought it was more even in the second. Edmonton
They picked up some steam, didn't they?
Which is not always the case when a team's been playing a lot of games. Usually they start to fatigue. But Mikko Rantanen scored his second. And then Miro Heiskanen scored to make it a 3-3 game off an end board ricochet. Wyatt Johnston was all over these. He had 3 primary assists. Do you have any thoughts on either the Stars' second goal or the tying goal?
Well, for one, it's impossible to watch Mikko Rantanen and not be impressed. Like, I feel like just so many times now this show has become, hey, we knew he was this good, but did we really know he was this good?
That's
like,
good.
and that, like, it's always impressive. And for me, I'm watching the game, and the McDavid goal goes in to make it 3-1, and you're thinking, you know what? And that's it. Like, and it's just, and part of that is me looking at, and it's not completely reflective of this game, but you're like, all right, this team, Edmonton has been the team that's ended this team's season the past couple of years. This has been their kryptonite. Basically gives them a 3-1 lead. It's over. Let's pack it up. It's a mountain they'll have to climb another day. And that's what I'm thinking when I see that 3-1 goal go in. So, and then the Rantanen goal, though, 45 seconds later, whatever the timing was, right? That's where you need your superstar moment, right? Like, that's the moment where that's why you pay that guy $12 million. That's why you pay him what you do, because he steps in, and it's not just it. It's so impressive, guys, with Rantanen's ability to control the moment and the whether it's the clutch or whatever you want to call it. There's something about that for me watching him play, where even in a regular season game in November, you're like, okay, this guy has that ability to change a game at any moment and actually does it frequently. And that's my big takeaway on that 3-2 on the 3-2 goal. You go from thinking pendulum, game's over, everything like that, to, oh, You know what? Yeah, they're good here. They're gonna figure it out. And so
Officially
the
46
Miro
seconds
goal,
later, Sean.
exactly. So that was that to me, it's the second goal is the big one here. Obviously, the Miro jumping into the play for I think I saw the stat flash up on the screen. It's his third goal of the season, which is equal to the rest of the Stars defensemen have 3 goals combined. A couple weeks back, we were talking about after Miro had his 2-goal game that both goals came off deflections off the other team, but that's one of those plays of like, okay, that is a quintessential way Miro can impact the offense that a lot of NHL players can't. I mean, you think about when the amount of ground covered by Miro from the blue line to net on that play, basically straight line there is so impressive, and to get there and the routes and everything like that. It's why if I'm gonna like bottle it up and look at it that way, this is why Miro Heiskanen and Mikko Rantanen, you're like, okay, if this team is going to get that job done and win 16 games at some point in the spring, this is one of those games, one of those regular season games where you're like, you bottle it up and remember, this is why it's good to have those in your corner. This is why when someone outside of Dallas says, oh, the Stars don't have a McCarr and a McKinnon, or they don't have this or that, like, you're like, no, that they have this. And that's kind of what I look at from the moment for those two guys.
Hey, Ryan, can you pull up that last tweet or what's that thing called?
The chat.
The chat. Can you pull up that last
Is
one?
that the one about the Moose?
Yeah. No, where he had 2 assists.
Okay. 'Cause I was laughing about a Moose Grundle's comment.
You just pull, yeah. You see where Wyatt had 2 primary assists and 1 secondary.
I thought they were all 3. Apparently, maybe on the Heiskanen goal, did Rantanen get a tip on that?
No, that's what I want to talk about.
I think
this is how good Rantanen is. Wyatt takes a shot at the net, and it hits Mikko in the back of the right leg. It hits him in the calf. He's not even looking. He's not even looking.
So he gets
it hits him in the back of the leg.
hit.
But here's the kicker: Wyatt's shooting it from the right-hand side of the net. From the, where the,
Yes.
Wyatt shoots it, hits Mikko in the back of the right calf, and it still goes off of his leg behind the net and comes out on the other side of the net. That's not supposed to happen like that. Everything he does, it just works out right now.
Pretty nice.
Yep.
It's bobblehead juju.
And that, I mean, again, and like Sean said, credit to Miro, because I don't know who Miro blew by, but to get up the ice and get into that position, I mean, I think this game tonight hopefully propels him forward, doing what he did against McDavid and getting involved like he did. That's what we need to see.
Well, he's going to have to chase some very fast, young, speedy Anaheim Duck.
Speaking of young and speedy,
Cutter Gauthier just scored his first NHL hat trick tonight for the Ducks. Let's say hello to Sam. Just to wrap things up, very entertaining overtime. Stars had a couple great chances. I thought that Casey had a nice save on Leon Draisaitl in that. And then you had Robertson and Johnston scoring in the shootout. Draisaitl scored for Edmonton, and so Dallas gets the win 4-3. Sam, what's the post-game conversation going on after that one?
Yeah, well, first of all, Luds, I was gonna say that first. The fact that puck somehow spun crazily off his leg, hit the end wall, and came out perfectly on the other side. I'm gonna have to watch it a million times to figure out how that worked. But the conversation, there's a couple things that I took away, but the main things about those players you guys were just talking about, Miro and Wyatt Johnston, Rantanen and Gulutzan said Miro's probably one of 3 players that can skate with Connor McDavid like that in overtime. And he didn't just keep up. Remember the days when the Stars were not this good and Miro would just lock off Connor McDavid and they'd play 4-on-4 for pretty much the entire game. Doing that 3-on-3 and what he did 2, maybe 3 times to just keep the gap perfectly, stay in his hip pocket. McDavid would turn and Hastings' stick would be right there in the right position. That is crazy to think of doing that on Connor McDavid. You watch him play in 5-on-5 when there's far less ice, and he still makes people look silly and dances around everybody. The fact that Miro was able to do that was just incredible. And Miro said it's a great challenge, and he looks forward to when he can do that, because it's everyone has their measuring stick, and for someone to have Connor McDavid as their measuring stick, it's a pretty good level for where Miro is. But for Wyatt, Glen Gulutzan made a point to say Wyatt Johnston is the kind of player that stands out in the biggest games. And the perfect example is they've played the Stanley Cup, 2-time Stanley Cup champion and the 2-time Stanley Cup runners-up the past 2 games here, and Wyatt Johnston's been one of their best players, if not their best player. That in itself shows you what type of player Wyatt Johnston is. He said when a young player, because Wyatt's still young, we forget because we were spoiled with him as a rookie, but when a young player can do that on that level, that's what leads to those game 7 game winning goals and the winning goals against Seattle in the playoffs and Vegas in overtime and those big moments. There's just no moment that's too big for Wyatt Johnston. I just thought that was a cool nod to him as well. And then the last thing on Mikko is he's buying into the big head thing, not just the bobblehead, but when he was asked about the bobblehead, he said, I already have a big head. We might as well have made it bigger.
Hey, that maybe when you talk about the big moments, that's where Hockey Canada's paying attention.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
We just did this conversation yesterday. Sean, I'll give you a quick second because I know Sam is doing his hit, but well, we're going to have to hit the ad. So let's hit the ad break. We'll come back. We'll say hi to Sam real quick. I'll ask Sean a question, and then we got a load of super chats. We'll do all that next here on the DLS Stars postgame show.
Sorry, talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
Is this the new shirt collection that we got going on?
This is indeed. And if you want to promote all the finished shirts tonight.
Well, can we do? Well, do we have them? Oh yeah, we had them up there before.
Yeah.
Well, then we already know about this, and we already know that if everybody wears this shirt to Hooters, I'm
Big
coming out of
Mikko
my
night
pocket
tonight.
apparently. So, let's talk about the finisher. I mean, the Mikko shirt. All the Mikko shirts. Finisher, the Moose. Okay, Ryan, just hit any button. Hit any button. How about just pop up the Moose? Can we get the Moose to come up?
It all froze on Ryan at the exact right point.
So anyways, there's the collection. I should just talk about the collection. There's the finisher.
Yep.
There's what's the Moose one?
Yep.
Oh, there. No, not them. We already talked about them. And then the Punisher. What about the Punisher?
Finisher.
Oh, was it the Finisher?
Finisher.
Why isn't
Moose?
Punisher?
And then the Finnish Mafia.
Oh, the Finnish Mafia one. That's the one. Well, we got some of the Mafias on IR, though. So
Rope.
Yeah.
Hey, check them out, alldls.com. And it's John's turn.
It's really hard to follow that ad read up because it's
that was called the word
tier
salad.
One. Yes, the adding to the word salad, you can become a diehard, and I think it's really cool looking at as I'm talking about this. I can see there we got more than 330 people live watch us after a November game. I don't know what our live viewership was at this time a year ago, but it's been really cool to see how much this show and the community around it has grown. And part of that community, when it comes to the DLS and the Stars community, it's becoming a diehard. And you can do that by clicking this, by going to this QR code right below me. Becoming a diehard, you get access to Sam's writing something off the game right now. You get access to that. You get something. There was some stuff off the Cowboys game yesterday. You get stuff off every Mavericks game. You get stuff off of all that. But most importantly, you get access to that Lud's Dam Discord, as we talk about, because that's where that community has grown. And it's been really cool to see how all of you out there have kind of taken this kind of ball and really rolled it into something so much more. Because sports are about community, and becoming a diehard makes you even more part of this community. If you want and what if I told you really want to enhance your diehard, your daily dose of sports in DLS or DFW, you go to become a newsletter reader. And
John, these guys are trying to tell you to wrap it up.
Newsletter. It's free. I understand, Lutz, but I want
to tell them
about
Sean.
this free newsletter. I would be remiss if I did not tell them about the free newsletter. And tell people that that's how you can get what you need every morning.
Free newsletter?
Go to alldls.com/newsletter.
Yes.
No. That's something different.
Totally different.
So is Sam still with us? Did we lose Sam?
Yes.
Okay. Sam, before you go, I have to ask you about your impression of the PNC Bank hockey mullet hat. Did you see as many as I did around the arena tonight?
Yeah, there were a lot. I saw a bunch. I saw Victory Green had one on as well. It was a little bigger than the ones that we had, but there were a lot. It was a fun thing to see because, obviously it was free. So it was cool that so many people had them. They're you see him on the camera, they're waving the bobblehead, but also wearing the mullet hair. But I do have one more thing I was going to say about what Glen Gulutzan said that I thought was super interesting. I asked him, I said, you guys have been great at coming back. I think it's 8 of 9. 8 of the last 9 they allowed the first goal. 6 of the last 9 they allowed the first 2 goals. So
That's not good.
not a winning recipe whatsoever. But I said, you've done a great job coming back, but what do you attribute to this? And first he said, I don't know, which I actually liked because it showed that he's open to just being honest once in a while, which we haven't always had here. But the other thing he said was, I think the biggest thing I'm trying to do with this team right now is get them out of their own heads. So we have the structure. We've learned the systems. We understand what we're supposed to do. But this team sometimes still doesn't just make hockey plays. He said 50% of the game is random. In those random moments, you just need to be a hockey player. And he's actively working to take away some of the habits that this team has from being so rigid in the past. And that's not anything against Pete DeBoer or the way they played. It's just that may be what's holding them back from becoming the team they want to be. And I think when you look at some of the breakdowns, they're mental. A lot of them, Thomas Harley making a pass that he never makes, or allowing the seam passes that Luds was showing, whether it's Sagan or Bork or the defenseman that's double teaming the wrong guy. Those are some of those plays where I think they're just thinking a little too much and maybe following the puck or following the wrong guy. Glenn thinks that if they can get that a little bit back and just play hockey in those moments, it's going to take the sky's the limit is the way he described it. So I just thought that was interesting.
All right. Before you leave, Sam, it's time for the PNC Bank Player of the Game. Of course, presented by PNC Bank, who's been handing out these wonderful Dallas Stars hockey hair hats. If Sean was here, he would be able to wear one as well. Sam's is over there. Yours might have been the redhead. Would have had this one. I mean, Sean would look great with the ginger, right? So, who's your pick for tonight's? We'll poll the group. Buds, PNC Bank Player of the Game tonight?
Same dude we've been talking about every time we mention the name for the Dallas Stars. 96.
Sam?
I'm going to go with Wyatt Johnston.
Sean?
I got to go with Rantanen on this one. It's but it's nice that you have multiple options, but I got to go with 96.
Yeah, I mean, look, if it wasn't the bobblehead night, I'd still say Rantanen, 2 goals and an assist. He was a huge part of this one. Wyatt with a great game. On most nights, he's your player of the game. But it's Moose mode, baby. It's Mr. I got a big head, I know it. And he scored, and he scored again. 300th and 301st career NHL goals. Led the comeback when they needed it. Scored, that Sean said, the huge goal 46 seconds after going down 3-1. He answers. Gets an assist by just being in the right place and having it hit off his leg. And although, to Wyatt's credit, did score the shootout winner to get the second point. So I say we go with Mikko Rantanen, but a huge honorable mention to Wyatt Johnston. Pick up your free, just like this one, Dallas Stars hockey hair hat pregame at PNC Plaza. Compliments of PNC Bank on November 6th. You already did it tonight. The second night is on Thursday against the Ducks at PNC's Luds pop-up Main Street branch. Get it? Main. And
I got it. M-A-N-E. I get it.
And
now.
you can come hang out with us.
Baby.
Sam will be there. Luds will be there. I'll be there. We'll take pictures by Luds' framed mullet photo that Sam found inside the pop-up branch. And you can also get your own, was it a free mullet haircut tonight, I think? Let alone free hats?
I believe so.
Well, no purchase is necessary. 1 per person. While supplies last. Copyright 2025. The PNC Financial Services Group Incorporated. PNC Bank, an official partner of the Dallas Stars. And with that, Sam, we will bid you adieu. We're off tomorrow. We have a big super chat list to get to, but we'll see you for Thursday's pregame.
All right, enjoy the super chats. I'm gonna get a DiGiorno.
Look who's trying to get his own sponsorship deal.
Good luck.
He's trying. I think he might get lucky if he gets a free pizza or not. Let's get right to it. We'll start the super chats. We're gonna have to hit overtime tonight. Bing bang. There's a bunch of them. So Ryan, fire those up on the screen. Get ready. Send them in. We'll start with Luds' favorite. Well, one of his favorite. Finger Blaster 911 with an Oscar Beck and a year after the cup. Mikko is the next captain. So shut your pie holes if you think otherwise. Robo and Tyler are the two biggest buzzkills in hockey. Okay, those are two wildly polarizing conversations. The first, we have Sean on record, game 5 after the loss to Edmonton, making this claim. Sean already clairvoyantly claimed and was correct that you should hire Glen Gulutzan as your head coach and make Mikko Rantanen your captain. 50% right. I would be not surprised in the least if the other half comes true after Jamie Benn hangs up.
It's looking like right now. I mean, I go back to one shot, and I don't think Sean was here, but there was one the other night, and I believe it when they were headed to a 5-on-3.
Yep.
And it was Mikko on the bench holding court, the guys on the power play. And to me, that as soon as I saw him taking charge, nobody else was talking, and it was him barking out orders.
You know, this is an interesting thought. Nobody wants to see Jamie Benn
No.
be out for as long as he was.
No.
Nobody wants to see him go,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Right.
But this absence of Jamie Benn is sort of a void for somebody to step in. And it clearly, again, this has not been Mikko's team for that long.
And I don't know if it's Mikko's team. I think it's collectively they're
Oh,
all.
what I mean is that
but you
he
can
hasn't
see
been a
who
Dallas star for
who's
very
holding
long.
the baton in.
And how do you argue with that? With
Yep.
what he does on the ice,
Yep.
what he does off the ice, work.
Yeah,
ethic?
when you are doing things that that are winning you hockey games and points and finishing, you are that's the main part. You can back up whatever you say.
All right, let's go to the next one because we could spend time talking about the Tyler Robo. I don't think they're buzzkills, but they have missed chances, but they were all around it tonight. J Guys 77 with a Darian Hatcher in year after the cup. How about that Miro masterclass against McDavid? Yes, that was stunning. Let's go to the next one. We have
bang
XXD Willis XX, lots of X's. Super chat with a Nils Lundqvist in year after the cup. My moose is loose. Yes. All right. I love Misty 1985 with a Madonna 99 cup year. I'm busy watching the Ducks play the Panthers in the Honda Center right now, but I have to drop by to say, hell yeah, the 2 points, especially since it's over the hated Oilers. John, this doesn't make up for losing in 2 Western Conference finals, but it's still nice for Gully and this group to get a win, shorthanded as they are. And to be fair, the Oilers are too. They're missing Zach Hyman. They're missing Matthias Janmark. Having some players out of the lineup hurts your group, both of these teams. But nice to get Gully a win against the Oilers.
I love Matthias Janmark, the human, but if we were really putting him on the same level of missing Matt Duchene and Rope Hintz, that's anywho.
I think you're missing
Matthias,
the bigger point here, but yes, I agree.
But I do think it's a really good win for, like, we talked about stories and narratives and everything like that. And when it comes to you lose this game, there's a little bit of that hanging impact until the next time you play Edmonton. There's a little bit of that doubt, that self-doubt of like, well, we all know at some point you're going to have to get past the Oilers. That's why you were hired. You were hired to do what Pete DeBoer couldn't. And does winning a game in November mean it's going to happen? No. But if you lost tonight, it does add a little bit to some of the questions and things like that. And so this does help. It helps get rid of one of Lud's least favorite things, potential distractions of conversations. So it gets rid of one distraction at least until the next time they play Edmonton.
All right, Brian, before we get to the next super chat, let's thank everybody for joining us on who joined us tonight on our television platforms. Don't forget to like and subscribe here on the pod and check out alldls.com. All right, off we go to overtime. Ryan, I'd like to do a double barrel super chat for Sean here. Hidalgo has 2 of them.
Bing bang.
The first one is a Heiskanen and Rantanen. Is Robo worth Mikko money? And then let's also jump past Michael. We'll get back to him with the Robertson and Johnston. Is Robo even worth Johnston money? So, Sean, your take on Robo worth Mikko money or even worth Wyatt Johnston?
I mean, we had this whole conversation after Harley signed. We had the conversation about the kind of decision and the way the Stars will have to look at this, because they've built a core, and you look at a lot of players on this team that have taken less than market rate to stay here for a long time. And Mikko is not worth Mikko money right now. Mikko's worth way
Mikko,
more than
that's what I was going to say. Mikko's worth
Yeah,
more than
like,
what Mikko Rantanen's making right
He's
now.
in his first year of the deal. He's already a great value, a bargain.
Like so, Wyatt Johnston is making is an extreme bargain for the Stars. So it's kind of the weird, like, double-edged sword of it, of when you're talking about this, of do we hold Jason Robertson is probably he's worth it. He's a $12 million a year player, but Mikko Rantanen should be a $15 million a year player. Let's just call it what it is. So there's a weird sliding scale on all of this, and I look at the whole Robertson thing, and I'm fascinated to see how he continues to go as the season right now. He's been really, really damn good so far this year. I know there's some people can want more from him, but to me, it's not about is he worth Mikko money or worth Wyatt Johnston money. It's worth, is he worth his fair market share and not above it? And that's the question. And what will Jason want? Does Jason want, what is his fair market share? Is it going to be $13.5 million or something like that? I think that's fine. But all of a sudden, when you start getting above that, that's when it starts getting to the spot of, can you do that with the ethos of this team you've built and continue to keep it together? That's the dynamic that Jim Nill will have to manage and figure out, and it's fascinating, honestly. So
What happens if you get to Christmas and Robo doesn't? What does that do, Sean? Like, or let's say he's got 15 goals. I mean, does that do anything?
The only thing I could think of about that, because look, they still have control. He's not a free agent, a UFA. He's an RFA with arbitration rights. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on there, but maybe that puts him on the bubble of making the Team USA Olympic roster. If he's not doing,
he has to play. He has to score in order to be worth whatever.
So far, I think we all agree. Debate me if you disagree or say so. I think we all agree he's played very well.
Yes,
but it hasn't translated to the goal total that I think he would expect. But he's looked every bit Jason Robertson. Just he only has 3 goals.
If he can't score or doesn't score, playing with Wyatt, Rope, Mikko, the
chances are there, right? And that shootout move is just unstoppable.
Yeah,
ridiculous. Well, let's talk about this. Michael Moore with the next super chat. It's a Haskin at 99. No way they can break up this top line, right? Also, Miro looked elite on McDavid in overtime.
Well, when you say break it up, what happens when Hintz comes back?
That's why I wanted to ask you that question.
Because I think they will. I think when
of the pairs.
Yeah, because the pairs. And do they like? I mean, do you like Robo with Wyatt, and do you like Mikko? You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I
like what Gully said. He likes Wyatt with both of them.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Robo now.
Yeah.
But would you keep Robo there with Hintz and Rent? Or would you are you going to take Robo and put him back with Wyatt? And now you have your duos and you complement them with whatever.
So if you could, and I think this is where Gully's going with this, because he was hinting at
that. Here's why I think. I said this before. When you play on a line with Hintz, because of the way he skates, he pushes people back, and there's a pocket behind it. There's a hole in the offensive zone where I think that's in, because of the way that Rantanen can pass the puck, Robo can come into that hole, because Robo's not going to be able to keep up. We know that. Not many people can keep up with Hintz. But when he does that, the defensemen get pushed back, and there's a gap in there. And I think there's a spot there when you can hit Robo in that area that he can score.
I agree. The question is, do you want, because of the pieces they're trying to figure out, do you want the pairs? Do you want 3 duos? Do you want Rope with Mikko? Do you want Duchesne with Sagan? Do you want Wyatt with Robo? Because then you have 3 really good duos that if you can get.
I just don't know that you have
enough.
You don't have 3 wingers to put with those guys.
You don't.
I don't think you do.
So do you load up and go with
and you
2
can't,
big
you
lines?
Can't keep taking, when everybody comes back, you can't keep taking Wyatt and putting him down in the 3rd line. Although he gets his minutes because he gets shuffled all over the place.
When Jamie Benn is healthy, Jamie does have decent chemistry with Wyatt Johnston. Yeah. Well, maybe Wyatt just has chemistry with anybody. Could he be, because Jamie, he's not the same speed skater of his pace as he used to. He does still have his hands. He still has his finishing. He can go to the net.
Yep.
I just wonder about that.
I guess when they're all back healthy, these are good problems.
Yeah, I agree.
Kelly.
All right, let's go to the next one because we could spend all night
Bing
talking about it. We
bong.
know how much Sean loves it. We have a Lundqvist and a Rantanen from Stephen Craig. I'd say the boys wanted that one for Gully. Could hear the crisp passes on screen. I have never hated a face more than McDavid's. His face sucked. Miro. Go.
Self-explanatory.
Seth
bong.
Eubank with a Lundqvist in year after the Cup Stadium Series versus the Buffalo Sabres, ? Brett Hull drops the puck. Maybe he kicks it a little when it hits the eye. I saw this earlier tonight. We were talking about who drops it with Roger Staubach or Jerry Jones or whatever, and I wanted to save that for the Super Chats, but that would be pretty funny. Then Seth also brought up another one, which was a Lundqvist in year after the Cup. If they were looking for the biggest superstar in Texas, how could you look past the king of Texas, George Strait, which I believe was the first concert at the AAC back in the day, if I'm not mistaken.
Bing bong.
And then Stephen with another one with a Darian Hatcher in year after the Cup. Casey DeSmith stepped up tonight. I bet he's huge. I'll tell you what, and actually we had XT Willis with another one from Heiskanen and a Rantanen. Casey got me debricked after that game. Yeah, I mean, when your goalie can be solid and get a win, when you don't have your starter, good thing. All right, next
Bing
one,
bong.
Ardell with a Ludwig and a Rantanen. And the Moose is the best player here since Madonna. Wow.
What a comp. Well, Rantanen's going to, he keeps going like this. He's headed to the Hall.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. You know, it's interesting, Sean, I'll ask you this. I stayed upstairs for just a couple minutes before our post-game show because Rantanen went on the ESPN broadcast back in the studio with Buccigross and TJ Oshie. It was interesting to see Oshie break down shootout moves, by the way. Talk about a guy that knows what he's talking about. And they were congratulating him on his 300th goal. And Buccigross asked him how many goals, if he has a goal total in his head for his NHL career. Mikko said, I don't think so. But Buccigross said, I see you getting 500. I hope you get 550. Is that a fair number for, 8 seasons? He's got 300 now.
Yeah, I mean, and then we had how many times do we see? Because he had 300, we saw the Finnish-born player graphic pop up over and over again tonight, right?
Yes.
It's burned into everyone's brain that Solani was at. Was it 686 for Solani? Was that the number? And I mean, 550 is it's a pretty impressive number, and honestly, we'll see how Mikko's game ages, and that's such a weird thing to talk about.
Teemu had 684 in his NHL career. Yep. A lot of goals.
It is. I have a hard time betting anything against Mikko Rantanen right now, honestly, in general. I've always been a big believer in the player. He's always been one of those guys I loved watching play when he was in Colorado before that. And so he is just we could just do a super cut so far, and we're only in November of times I've ran out of words to talk about how impressed I am with Mikko Rantanen. So 550 would not surprise me.
All right, 2 more Super Chats on our list
Bing
right now,
bong.
I believe, unless more are rolling in. Stephen Craig with a Ludwig and year after the Cup. We need more Wyatt and Mikko. Wyatt and him are it. You're not going to hear us argue. And then Bailey with a Heiskanen 99 Cup year. If Lud sells some of the chain metal in his shirt, we can get Robo's signing bonus. It's not actually chain metal. It may be an optical illusion on the screen, but it's actually looks like more of like a sateen type of shirt.
What? What the hell is that?
What the hell is sateen?
Do you not know? Do you guys not know about dress shirts?
Obviously not.
Yeah, look it up. SATEEN. It's a material. Part of one of the dress shirts.
Sean's Googling it right now.
Yeah, well, so is Ryan. They're all trying to figure out if I'm completely full of it, which may be true, but I know what sateen means. And he's got a pretty sheer.
Let's go before we got to go to double OT.
Yeah. Okay. We will be back on Thursday night for the Stars and Ducks pregame show, which will be early. We're going to pre-tape at 5 o'clock. It'll still air at 6:15 because around 6 o'clock, Luds, Sam, and I will all be at the pop-up, which is up in PNC Plaza right before the entrance to the American Airlines Center. That's November 6th, before the Ducks game, for more handouts of the Main Street pop-up of these wonderful hockey hair Dallas Stars hats, pictures with Luds, Sam and me if you want, maybe even see the scooter. I don't know how you're going to.
What scooter?
Mine.
Oh.
Got to get over there. Anyway, join us then. Thank you very much for all the super chats tonight. For Sean, for Luds, for Sam, for Ryan, I'm Owen. Stars win. Have a great
I'm going to run
night.
out tomorrow and buy a sateen shirt. Oh, speaking of sateen, what does sateen mean again?
We all silly like the mayor.